Okay, shalom. This is now chapter 5, and I just did chapter 4, so I'm just going to keep on going. Chapter 5, the web. I was stressed, anxious, excited, and worried all at the same time. I have 17 minutes. As time ticked away until the news conference with Loretta Lynch. The Attorney General was expected to be introduced by the City of Phoenix officials and take over the microphone to her to describe her visit. We all had a task to accomplish before that news conference began. Tyson went to his desk to quietly check with some sources about Bill Clinton's visit. Who was he in Phoenix to see? Why didn't we know about it? I then focused on the digital story, otherwise known as the web script. The web script is the online version of a story. If you go to any popular news website and read an article, you're reading the web script. Chris and Tyson told me to write a web script that would be ready to publish at a moment's notice. When I told them I was ready to go on air with the information, both of my managers wanted the story in writing and ready to publish on our website immediately. Chris waved me back into his office. This time, Rudy, our digital expert, walked into Blue Windows land with me. Chris said, "Okay, walk me through this one more time so we're clear." I knew he needed to make sure there was no hiccup in my story, my source, my confidence, and my information. There was never a time when Tyson and Chris tried to prevent the story from getting out. Their job was to make sure it was right, because that toothpaste could never go back into the tube. So I started at the initial phone call from Jay. Rudy listened intently, while Chris listened carefully for any changes, concerns, or items left out. I don't think Chris blinked as I gave him the play-by-play. He was focused. The last thing we wanted to do was to get the story wrong. If we were wrong, the implications were significant. We faced the possibility of losing commercial revenue if candidates pulled their ads, and of course we would lose the reputation of our TV station and even our own reputations. Our TV station could be labeled for getting it wrong. But I wasn't wrong, and I knew it. Jay was trustworthy, but I had to make sure Chris was at the right comfort level. This is good journalism. Yes, I'm bragging, but this is how a newsroom is supposed to operate. I've never complained that someone questioned my facts on this story or any other story. A journalist should be questioned and should welcome questions. It's how we hold each other accountable. If a journalist is angry about being questioned, then that usually sends up a red flag. Bias can reveal anger. Objectivity reveals facts. Inside the Blue Window office, Chris listened intently and asked me one final time, "How do you feel? Are you confident or are you positive?" I told him, "We are good. We're good to go." Rudy and I left Chris's office and walked to an elevated area of the newsroom known as the assignment desk, where the digital team sat around by computers and police and fire scanners. This team was the gatekeeper of digital content, ranging from the TV station's website to Twitter to Facebook and YouTube and any other conceivable digital output tool. I quickly wrote a story on the secret meeting. It didn't take me long to craft a few paragraphs. My game plan was to keep the initial story simple. I just wanted to go on record that the secret meeting occurred and provide a few detailed nuggets, such as the length of the meeting and how the high-profile individuals crossed paths. The plan was to later add to the online version as I gathered more detailed information about what had transpired. More would be added to include my reporting, images of Loretta Lynch, and even her sound bites. The web script was written. Rudy, the man who was in charge of the digital content that morning, tweaked a few of my grammatical errors. Rudy cleaned up the web script and added separate photos of Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton, Rudy was ready to publish the web script at a moment's notice. Reporter Katie was ready with the pointed question. Rudy was ready with the web script. My bosses and my colleagues and I were ready to go. They were told to wait. A curveball was heading our way. Loretta Lynch and her massive public relations machine, known as the federal government, had been tipped off. They knew we were coming, and I couldn't believe who told them. Next chapter.